Fourth part of my story. Some people wanted the closure of this story. The other parts of this story are all down in the comments below. I spoke to the other man several times last week. I first asked him questions that I knew the answers. He answered them without hesitation and correctly. I then asked him questions that I did not know the answers. He answered them promptly and I believe truthfully. I ended talking to him on Thursday and he kept apologizing to me. As far as the other man's wife, I gave her an invitation to talk to me with a third party present and have not heard back. On Thursday my wife and I were talking and she lied to me for the first time, that I am aware. Since last Saturday, I triggered big time. I asked her if she communicated with the other man on her new Facebook, the one she started in February. She said no. I opened up her page and showed her where she sent him a smiley face. She tried to say she did not communicate with the OM on there. I know this is a minor detail, but I got mad. I asked her 6 times and she finally said, "I see your point. I did not see it as communicating." He never replied and I did not send him anything else. I was able to verify that. The OM did tell me that he did not use Facebook much and that they only communicated via on there back then. I have been able to verify all that. When I triggered, that is why I left work early on Friday. I have to admit that I got a few beers on my way home on Friday. Okay, more than a few. And arrived home drunk Friday morning. When I pulled into the driveway, my son and wife did not know I was coming home. They both came running out to greet me. I said I am drunk, because you lied. My wife took me by the hand and took me into the garage and we sat down and talked for hours. She kept apologizing to me. She said, "I understand that any lie, no matter how small, will trigger you," and she said this is all her fault. She then explained a lot more about her and answered every question. She never once blamed me. She has not blamed me at all. She said she blamed me for everything to her friends and family and it was just an excuse. She did ask me that in the future if I have a question, like the one about Facebook, that I give her more time to answer it. She said she does not want to blow up like on Thursday night, which resulted in me getting drunk. She said she caused all this and she wants to fix it. She did ask me to give her time to give a full accounting of everything. She said she is writing it all down and does not want to leave anything out. She said I do not want you to get mad if I leave something out. So she is asking for time to write it all down. I did tell her that I have been tired of asking questions since the beginning of time and all I got was lies, half-truths, and will not go through that again. The 2 dates in and the 2 late nights 2 years ago that I was obsessed with since that time. She told me about those times and dates and stated why even when I showed her the proof she went into a I don't remember mode. I may have mentioned this before, but the OM and her had a story and they did not want to change it and it did not include those dates and times. Last night I brought in all the files I had for 3 years ago. Phone logs, emails, etc. I must have had a foot or more of files. I had them at a secure location and brought them home. I went over a few items, highlights, and my wife stood there and cried saying how sorry she was at the pain she has caused me. She took me into the bedroom and put her arms around me and put her head on my shoulder and cried saying over and over again how sorry she was at the pain she has caused me. For over an hour, we spent part of the weekend in Delaware. I triggered bonding. She told me that every time they met they had slept together 2 to 3 times. Don't ask what came over me, but I wanted to do it 2 to 3 times. I still have it in me without meds. During the second go around, I thought of the recording and triggered. I got mad, got dressed and left for half an hour. Came back in and my wife was sobbing saying this is all her fault. She said I don't want to experience that again, can you tell me what you were feeling? I explained to her what I was thinking and what triggered this. I told her I wanted to prove something and triggered. She told me that I am all that she needs and ever wants in her life and told me over and over again how sorry she is. There is a lot more I could write, but she seems sincere. I am skeptical. My wife went to work today and I have a GPS on her phone. Her work location is not perfect in that when she is in the salon her phone does not pick up a signal, but I can track her otherwise. Right now, she is leaving work and is on her way home. My phone did the same thing when I worked at the hospital years ago. I could not get a signal in my office. I think I will get a GPS on her car as well. Not perfect, but it will give me some relief. My wife has been texting my youngest son about once a day or so and he will not respond to her. I had a talk with him about this and he said he is not ready to talk to his mother. I told him to take his time and don't rush it. My wife is anxious to renew her relationship with him and I told her to let him decide when he is ready. My wife and I are sharing my Facebook. I got everything I needed from her 2 Facebooks. I messaged some of the guys. They thought I was her. My wife had a whole system of codes with these guys, some members of her family and her girlfriends. It was her way of making sure that if I hacked anything, they would know it was her. She shared all this with me without me asking. Well, 2 guys responded. The fireman who she has not texted or talked to in 2 months called her a nutcase and said we have not talked in months and don't contact me again. They never met. They sent pictures back and forth, kids, dogs, of each other but nothing related to dirty things. The other guy seemed shocked that she contacted him and basically said it has been a while since we communicated what's up. Get this, I thought she had connected with a bunch of her old girlfriends. Not the case. Her support group, so to speak, was 3 of our nieces, and they basically told the family that they did not want to meet with her. 4 high school friends and 1 girl she was friends with growing up. All of them had very little contact with her overall. They were helping her with attorneys, giving her names, etc. They all bought her lie that she was being exed by me. Since she apologized, only one has been in contact with her. I have seen the phone logs and text messages. She was calling me a ducking jerk, etc. She did not delete anything, wanted me to see it all, just to show me she is telling the truth. Only one brother is talking to her and he is not saying much to her. My wife called my mother and apologized to her. My mother's first words to her were, "Hi, sweetheart," and my mother sobbed and sobbed, saying she was praying for her and her prayers were answered. My wife was sobbing and said that I did not do a thing to cause her to have these affairs. I did not ask her to call my mother. My wife did ask me if she could unblock her middle sister from my Facebook so she can see what we are writing, and I said no. My wife posted some things on Facebook admitting to cheating, and I asked her to take it down. I told her don't embarrass yourself, and I don't expect her to do that on there. If friends write us, she can explain it through messages. My wife did post that she is sorry for all the confusion she caused and that she has a wonderful husband. I think that is sufficient for Facebook. I did not ask her to do any of this. People who know the situation has written very positive statements. One friend who she tried to get involved was a girlfriend from her high school days, and I asked her about it. She told me that she never responded, but that she knew from her other friends what was going on. Well, I looked this girl up and she is a very devout Christian, and I think, not sure, she read between the lines and did not want to be part of my wife's drama. This girl is good friends with one of my wife's old girlfriends, and this one knew all the details of my wife's affairs, and I believe she shared it with her. I suspect that this girl did not want to support my wife because of her affair. Financially, we are doing very well. I have paid all the bills, caught up with some that we were behind on. We'll be able to pay off a credit card, maybe 2, over $5,000, and then work on getting the last one paid off, hopefully by fall. After that, I will pay off 2 loans and will only have to worry about the mortgage on this house. At the beginning of March, I was broke. I even paid our taxes. Tables are selling. My wife is working her butt off bringing in money. I have 3 tables to refinish and I can't believe it. I get solid wood tables for free or less than $40 and refinish them in less than 3 hours, and they are selling for $300 to $500 a piece when I get them done. I did not sell the stuff that I made, table, benches, headboard, etc. man. I wanted to keep that stuff. We are going out to restaurants. Took my wife and son out last night, and it is nice to be able to afford it. Once I get the credit cards paid off, I won't use them again unless we go on a trip. I am paying cash on almost everything. I do believe that for the first time since 10 plus years ago or prior to that, my wife has truly changed. It is hard to explain, but I do not feel the tension, the deceit, the lies. I am in pain, and it gets bad. Hearing the stuff that she did with the OM is very painful. Hearing her tell me that they mocked me when I gave his pastor the wrong dates and the OM was able to prove he was at work. She said they both said how stupid I was and were laughing about it. She keeps saying how sorry she is, and I want the truth, no matter how painful. She thanked me for praying for her soul and not giving up on her. My wife has not once shown defiance, no defensiveness, no blame shifting, no stubbornness. One lie about Facebook. She has owned up to her errors and has taken full responsibility. She is going to go for counseling. We will try to find a church together. I have been very tender with her, for the most part. Last Thursday night I went out to the sunroom and she came out saying, "OP, hit me, punch me, beat me up. I deserve it. I should not have lied about Facebook." She knew I was very upset. I said I never hit you, never ever threatened you, and I am not going to start now. She said I want to prove to you that I have changed no matter what. Again, I am skeptical, but she does seem to have radically changed. She admitted to using her memory issues as an excuse. She says she does have memory issues and gave me some examples, but she will not use it as an excuse. The examples have nothing to do with her affairs, and she does get her memory back. The blanket triggers me. I have it in the basement. I confronted her last week about still having a bed in her car. She said, "No, that is for the dog." I said, "Really? Isn't those blankets the same ones that have been in the car since forever?" She said, "I just changed the top ones and the one in the car is the one that my brother's dog passed on." I said, "How many times did you have fun on that thing?" She went over to the car and ripped it out. She was angry and ripped it out and threw it in the trash. I stood there and said, "Oh, you are mad now?" She said, "I am mad at myself for being so stupid." My Iraq blankets, man, my friend gave it to me over in Iraq. He was there for 15 months and never washed it. I never washed it. It was a big zebra pattern blanket, very thick. I kept the AC on so high it was like 49 degrees my room. One time the AC went bunkers and it froze the water in my room. Keep in mind that it got over 120 degrees over there. I just slept in that blanket, no sheets. My wife, my friends, and I joked about how disgusting it was. We had a free laundry and I just never took it over there. When I got home, my wife washed it about 5 times. We made love on it, in it, under it many times. It meant a lot to me. There is nothing redemptive in it. I will figure out what to do with it. Maybe take it out one day and burn it. The car, I would like to see it crushed. I have ridden in it and almost jumped out of it the other day. I had my wife pull over and I had to get out. I could hardly breathe. She said she will sell it. Nope. It will be stripped down or crushed. Not traded, not sold. I have certainly learned a lot about serial cheaters. As she is starting counseling and I am planning on some other tests, we shall see what these outcomes will reveal. I got all the information on the pastor. Emails back and forth. He bought her lies and blamed me, saying I caused my wife to run into the arms of other men. They have this view that the husband is responsible for everything in the house. If the wife cheats, husband's fault. If the wife is an alcoholic, husband's fault. He shared everything about me with her and her 2 brothers. He shared nothing with me and told her that they will keep it secret. He told me to tell my wife everything before I took any action. Stopping the money, divorce, etc. Yet he kept telling her that he will protect her and not share anything with me. I honestly think he wanted in her pants. When they met, I am told they met once at his house with his wife. Not sure if his wife was there or not. I am done with the in-laws. Learned some lessons here. I told the wife other than the youngest brother I am done with her family. And even with the youngest one I will be fairly aloof. Not one of them wanted to confront their sister. Her middle sister did confront her and then went back in her weird mental state and told me I was lying about what she said and what she did. My wife shared this with me. Years ago, my wife was having an emotional affair and texting online chat with at least 4 guys around the world. I had evidence. Her middle sister was also involved and I told her husband back then and he caught my sister-in-law talking online back then. My nieces, my middle sister-in-law's daughters, were also online chat with them at that time. They would have been around ages 12 and 15. I remember looking at online chat when I was gathering evidence. I am not very conversant on these websites, but I remember you signed up for it and there were a variety of chat rooms that you could go on. Some were very explicit and very physically oriented. You could also go into a private chat room. Now the girls were all exposed to this. My wife stated that she did not know what the nieces were doing, but she knows that her sister and her would share guys. My wife remembers one of the guys from Ireland. I have her talk with this guy. And her sister introduced her to him, saying he is a very good looking. When I contacted him pretending to be my wife here, they had a code word and I could not respond to him and he said this is not the wife but the husband and it ended. I told my wife your sister led her girls on this crap and I don't want contact with her ever again after finding this out. My wife shared with me that her sister was also out seeing men, cheating on her husband at this time. I told my wife you can get in touch with your sister if you want, but I will not approve of it. I said there is too much evil shared between the 2 of you going back to when you were 11 years. So, don't even go there. When my sister-in-law had clarity of mind a few weeks back, she shared some of this with me. Then after my wife chewed her out for sharing thing with me, my sister-in-law called me and said I am a liar and she never told me this stuff and I better clear it up with the family. I believe she is bipolar. She is definitely nuts. Clear-headed one moment and nuts the next. As far as the emails go between my wife and the pastor, not worth it. My brother-in-law knows he lied about me and still wanted me to submit to him. In their mind, if you are not under pastoral authority, you are in trouble because Satan will get you and only a pastor can protect you. Let the boogeyman come and get me. I am planning on finding a church, but I will never again be under a control freak. The way my wife was spinning everything I do get where she fooled her friends and for a while her family. But I do not understand this pastor. He had my side of the story very clearly. Why he said I did not speak to him about my issues and then backtracked and then twisted what I said or what I did not say is beyond me. After he met with my wife, it was all about controlling me and no longer confronting my wife. That much is clear. Even with the text messages I have, his focus became OP. Submit. Relinquish your rights to me. Even when he spoke to my son, the pastor told him I know how to handle your dad. Where is her family now? They have our phone numbers, emails, etc. with the exception of the youngest brother-in-law. And it has been briefing with him. There has been no contact. None. Because I am no longer a puppet on a string. They abandoned ship. My wife wrote this private message to her family members on FB on Monday, thanking and praising God for OP's prayers and that he never gave up on me. I am broken by Jesus and have truly repented. I'm full of sorrow and am seeking forgiveness from all that I have offended. Facebook shows that they all read it. Though I did not tell my wife what to write, I did ask her not to go into details with the rest of the family at this time. I asked my wife not to share much. She did share everything with her youngest brother via phone with me present. I said I was done with the in-laws and my wife asked her younger brother to share some of details with the family but not who the OM is. I do not want my youngest son to find out who the OM is at this time, and her other family members will share this with him. It is how they are. He has already gone after 2 guys, we were wrong about them, and threatened them over the phone. He already told me that if he finds out that it was the OM from 2 years back, he will go to his work and it will be ugly. I don't want him to go behind bars. When my wife gives me her written account, she told me that she is writing everything down. I did not ask her to write it, but am pleased that she is. Then I will decide what to share with the family. She has written to 2 of her high school girlfriends when they asked her what the heck is going on, and she explained things to them. That she was wrong, lied to them, and stated that I was not the abusive husband that she had convinced them that I was. She stated that she had an affair and was living in sin. So as far as her confessing things, I will see what she writes and take it from there. Last night I asked her a question and her answer led to more. It caused a heck of a lot of pain and I just shut down mentally. I was numb. I felt like I was just a shell. I went out to the sunroom and just was laying on the couch. She found me and started to cry and took me to the bedroom and just hugged me and read the Bible and kept saying how sorry she was to cause me such pain. I was just numb and went to bed. When I woke up this morning, I had Bible verses in my head and felt relief. My wife was already up and I knew she was praying for me. She had gotten Ruddy, our golden retriever, out of his cage and he was lying next to me. When I woke up, he started licking my face. I just started laughing. My wife came in and laid next to us on the bed saying how sorry she was and that she has been praying for me for an hour. I was still in shock with some of the things she told me last evening. Things I already knew from the OM but not the details. In November, when she got caught and I exposed it, she told me she ended it with the OM. That was the November 29th. She did tell me that she called the OM to end it on or about Deck 1. I knew about that call as she shared it with me. It was a lie as she kept her burner phone till about December 12th and threw it away. She had told me she got rid of the phone prior to November 29th. I don't know all the details. I have not pressed her for them, as she is writing everything down and I will wait for that. What she shared with me was the OM was really scared and they cooled everything down for a while as far as meeting up again. They started talking again in December, really never stopped. They talked about ending it but then got into texting. According to my wife, they went physical again on August 2nd. Did not meet from November 29th till next August. That seems to be the truth. We shall see. For me, what sucks is, it was right after I received $18,000 in back disability payments, which allowed us to buy this new home and pay for trips to the Virgin Islands and Cancun and pay off bills. I told my wife last night when she found me in the sunroom. I asked her if she wants me to sign over the house to her lover. I said I remember going out with my wife and celebrating the money. I said you could not wait to celebrate this with your lover. That is when she started to cry again and say she was sorry for the pain and took me to the bedroom. I said I was such a fool. I could have filed for D in December, got this money and ran. But I bought you a new home and paid for trips and this is how I get repaid. I said you decided to hook up again after 8 months and stabbed me in the back again. I said this house is a sham. The trips were a sham and they mean nothing. She kept saying how wrong she was and she will make it up to me. She said I know I caused this and I will help you. She said she feels like a piece of crap. I told her you have no idea what you are saying. I said I have felt like that for years. She said, I know, and she said I did that to you. She kept saying she was sorry. I was just numb. I took a sleeping pill and all I remember is her hugging me and I was thinking of the Bible. Because of the Lord's great love we are not consumed, for his compassion never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And I fell asleep. I am hearing the truth for the first time. At least I think I am. So far, other than the FB issues on Thursday night, I have not caught her in one lie, and believe me, I have years worth of documentation. My wife stopped going to church when I did around 10 years ago. She stopped reading her Bible and I really don't remember her praying on her own. 10 years ago, she bawled a little but would not answer questions and did not come clean on one thing on her own. I asked her over and over again and she refused. We would take walks for over an hour and I would tell her and ask her to tell me what happened and she would not answer a thing. If I had evidence, she would deny and only after 3 to 5 attempts she would finally and reluctantly admit to it, and there was the evidence staring her in the face. She admitted to some things, but even with the evidence she would say I don't remember. She said she was sorry and begged me not to D her, but everything she told me she was going to do she just blew it off, saying she forgot or that she did not feel it was that important. That is why I feel this time it seems different. I had a talk with her this morning. Last night stank. I stayed at work late. She did not like it. I am behind here at work with notes, treatment plans, and took last night to get caught up. I really did not want to go home as I found out more stuff about what she was saying to family about me. I saw where she was telling my niece nasty stuff about me and my niece was saying nasty stuff about me. When I did come home, I got on the computer and was confronting one of the guys by sending him an email. My wife asked me to go to bed and I refused, saying I will take care of this and come to bed later. This morning my wife came to me and we talked a while. She witnessed the OM talking to me initially on the phone and saw how I handled it and how I got answers. Then I got more information from him over the next several days. She wants to contact the OMW and I told her no way. She feels guilty and knows that I got answers from the OM and feels that if she does the same thing with the OMW, she may get closure. I said no way. I said if there is going to be any conversation with the OMW it will be with me and we are not going to chase her down. I offered her the opportunity to talk and share notes and it is in her court. I got most of what I wanted from the OM and we shall see how my wife's notes and his compare when she gives me her account. Today my wife is working about 20 to 30 minutes from the OM's house. I know that she is smarter now. Hooking up with the OM would be easy, but I am also smarter and I have more money to afford better technology. Trust but verify. The counseling service is headed by a psychiatrist, and I will see what they have to offer as far as psychological testing. Years ago, when I was going through the ordination process with the Presbyterian Church, I had to go through 5 days of psychological testing. When the psychologists met with me, I was amazed what they knew about me just by having me do certain tests. In fact, I was so impressed I went and got certified in one of the tests. It was amazing when I used this on clients. As long as the clients were truthful, it was very accurate. The instrument had 37 scales. It was not an easy instrument to learn, nor was it easy to learn how to interpret the data and work through all 37 scales. But once I had done it enough times, I had a very good trainer. It became second nature. I could just look at the scores and pretty much know what I was dealing with in the person sitting in front of me. I stopped using it when I moved into another position and the company would not pay for the tests. I had to pay for each test, had to put in a new code for each exam into the computer. Anyway, the place where my wife will be going looks good. I will see what testing they have available and pay for the tests if they are good ones. I really do want to know what I am dealing with in my wife. The one center, which is just a few miles from our home, wants several $1,000s just for testing. Excellent test for physical issues, but I don't want to spend that kind of money. Just don't know yet where I will go with this mess. My wife asked me last night if I wanted to bond, and I just fell asleep. I just was not in the mood and my wife gave me space. Today is just a continuation of yesterday. I just feel exhausted mentally. This is how I can explain it. I was prepared for D. Some of you will disagree that I was projecting that I wanted to save the marriage. I don't think I was. I wanted answers. I wanted my wife's family on board with me. I wanted to get our finances in order. I was praying for my wife's soul, not our marriage. I felt the marriage was over. Then her confession. Then the OM calling me and saying he was sorry and confessing and telling me stuff for the next 4 days. It really has thrown me for a tailspin. I have had no contact with my wife's family and don't plan on it, ever. Other than her younger brother. We will watch his house this weekend. And with her younger brother it will be at arm's length. I am done with the OM, gave him advice and got all the information I needed from him and was able to verify most of it. I will be filing a lawsuit against the pastor down the road for violation of confidentiality. I have a year and have an attorney, giving my wife an opportunity, and we shall see. I don't trust her at all, but so far, she has been truthful, with one exception. She will be giving me a written explanation of events going back. This is something she said she wants to do. I will see what she gives me and I will go from there. I have put together a timeline of events from years ago till today and will see if her story matches mine, and mine is based upon what I have in my head for the most part. My gut from those times and the evidence I have now. I am in the process of setting up an appointment for my wife and I to see a shrink together. This will be for a consultation for my wife, and I just want to make sure we use what is available, and I want to know what she should be doing to get the help she needs and what steps we should be taking for her evaluation. This person has worked. My wife has been in the emergency room twice in the last several weeks. Essen saw a specialist today and the doctor scheduled her for 3 procedures. So I have not been able to confirm an appointment with the shrink until I know what my wife's medical appointments are going to be. My youngest son called me on Saturday and my wife was sitting beside me and I put the phone on speaker mode. He was all excited. I asked him if he was ready to talk to his mother and he said, no. My wife sat there and listened. My son told me that he is working on his certification and that he is the only one in his building that will have it, and he was describing it to me all about it. Then he told me he found a good Mennonite girl and that they will be going to church together. They went yesterday. She lives on a small farm, can cook, etc. He was really upbeat. Then he told me he ended his friendship with his best friend. This is the one who said my wife tried to seduce him when I was in Iraq. My son told me about what happened between the two of them, other than the guy saying my wife is a W. I will leave out the other details. Not important. He talked for about an hour. When we ended the conversation, my wife broke down and cried. She said my son never told me you like that. That is how he used to talk to me. He used to share everything with me. She blamed herself for breaking up the family, ruining her relationship with her son. She said, OP, you are there for our son and I am proud that he has you. And I can't wait to get that relationship back with him, and I was hoping it would be this weekend. I told her that yes, you blew it, you lied, you cheated, and it will take our son a while to work through it. I told her she has no one else to blame but herself. There is a lot more I could say about the weekend and this morning, but my wife is trying very hard, saying all the right things. Is very in tune with me, for the first time in forever. And I am just skeptical. My boys are doing great. My wife says it is because of me and what I have done over the past 3 to 4 months. My wife keeps telling me that I am the only person that stuck by her during this entire ordeal, even after all the horrible things she did to me. and she is very appreciative of it and will prove to me that she will be there for me and only me. We shall see. Right now, it is one step at a time. If I feel like I did yesterday and it continues, then the marriage will be over. I will not be able to take it. If I can keep moving forward, then there is hope for this marriage. I told my wife this morning I don't have hope for our marriage. I don't have joy. But I said I am trusting God, and right now I am here with you, and that is where I feel I should be at this time. My wife said she will prove to me that she changed. Last evening, I lost it. My special needs son made a fire pit in our backyard some time ago. I checked with the fire department and they say it is fine to have a fire as long as the neighbors don't complain. My son has been burning junk wood and I have been telling him not to do that. Too much smoke. So last evening he asked me to get more wood, and I saw where he had put wood in the pit that I told him not to burn, and I told him again not to use that wood. Then I saw my good sneakers on the back porch. I asked my wife about it. She said my son got his sneakers muddy and she gave those to him to wear. That started my rotten mood. I told her those are my good sneakers, and I said I have over 6 pairs that I don't care about. Why did she give him my expensive good sneakers to use to mow the yard? She said she will give him another pair until his are dry. I told my son not to use that wood and that his mom and I will go out and get wood for him. We got in my truck and I know a place that gives away free wood. I got some white oak. I know my wood and this stuff was dry. I came home and cut the wood and stacked it and had it ready for my son. He wanted to wait till it got dark and I finished mowing the yard. I got the yard done and went to the back of the house, and there my son was with my new sneakers on, walking in the newly cut grass, and he had put the junk wood on top of the white oak I cut in the fire pit. I lost it. My son started to give me back talk. My wife came out and I told her why he is wearing my good sneakers and why won't he listen to me about the fire pit and the wood. I told her and him I went out and got you wood and it is not good enough. I said nothing I do is ever good enough for you and your mom. I know what the hell I am doing, and you both disrespect me. I said you wanted a fire tonight and I got you great wood, but you insist on putting junk wood in there that will smoke out the neighbors. I said I am tired of telling you and your mom over and over again about the sneakers, about the wood, etc. I said again that nothing I do is ever good enough. I said I got one of the best woods out there to burn. It is seasoned and you throw junk in the fire pit, and I looked at my wife and said, why don't you say anything? You are letting him walk around in my good sneakers after you told me you would put them away and get him another pair. Allowing him, even watching him put junk wood in the fire pit, after I told you that that wood will smoke and not burn correctly and you just think it is okay. I got in my truck and left. When I came home my wife asked me if I wanted to talk. We did. I was mad and she said she will not talk to me if I am mad. She said, do I need to admit you to a hospital or take you for counseling? I said, stop manipulating me. I will not put up with it. I said, I am done with counselors. You had affairs in all these different years and I went in for counseling. What did you do? Nothing. You had the affairs and I got help. I said I am done with counselors. I know what I need. She said I don't like it when you are angry. I said, really? I don't like you sleeping with other men. I don't like you spending my money on other men. She said, you nailed me. I jumped right in and said, no, the OM nailed you. She put her head down and said, I am sorry. I used the wrong words. She said you have every right to be angry. Then she told me she has the account almost done of what she did and said she will share with me what she wrote. She said she is stuck on some things as far as dates. I said, I have the dates. Don't worry about specific dates. She said that time in September where she said she did not meet with the OM, they were in a hotel till evening. I said that was Sep 27 and it was a Tuesday, and I said I know almost everything you did the entire day. It was if I was there. I said when you have everything written down, we will go over it. I said I am not in a mood to listen right now. She said, OP, you are my rock, the boys rock, we are anchored to you, don't melt down, don't lose hope, your prayers have been answered. You stuck by me when I did not deserve it, don't walk away from God, I know I caused your pain, and I am sorry, I am very sorry. We need you to stay strong, give your pain to God, lay it at his feet. My wife started praying for me. It was a beautiful prayer, perhaps the best prayer she ever prayed for me, heartfelt, and it spoke to my heart. I then apologized to my son. We went out and started the fire and roasted marshmallows. It was a great fire, hardly any smoke. Afterwards I went into the house and into the bedroom. She left the bedroom to take care of the dog. I went to bed. My wife came in and made love to me, saying how sorry she was for hurting me and causing me all this pain. My comment. The next part will be out today as well. I am not sure is it the final part or not. I will try to squeeze the ending in. We will see.